It's 13:13 GMT, and Liffruma, the deck, is now on sale at liffruma.com. Wassail, 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 wassail. Hello, people. So, I'm in a very beautiful and excited mood. And YouTube has got lots of new features, which made it very confusing. Trying to just log in to go live. Wassail. I want to call you Sandy then, instead of Sandra. So, welcome. Liffruma is on sale. And I was just shuffling the cards, and this one turned over in the deck, and I put it back in, and then it came out again with what was static is now free, and that just felt like a really beautiful wassail, blessed by the best. It felt like a beautiful Liffruma message about how it's been unavailable and now it's available and you can go online and purchase it. Wassail, Kathy. Oh, Kathy, look what's on the bottom of the deck. It's one of your cards. So, I have here, which I don't take out anymore, the original master deck, when there was only one copy without any protective skin. I brought it into the reading. Also in here, which is how you will purchase the deck, and you need to hurry up because they're selling really quickly. We only printed 500 to start with, and then we'll have to print some more, so hurry. This is my second deck, which was from the first 50. So we've got deck number one of 50. And then this one is one of the 500 that are now available. And that's the one I'm using today. Although I might use this one for another purpose. We'll see. So if you go on liffruma.com, you order the deck, you get the bag and you get the cards. You don't get a book because everything is written on the cards. It is its own book of spells. Every card explains the directions that your mind needs to consider to read them. But you can go on liffruma.com and there's more. Sorry, I will pay attention now, people. So, Wassail, wild wolf woman, you're in Greece now. What's going on? You were in France. And we've got Wassail Penelope heading into the city. Well, have a beautiful time and thank you. And who else? Wassail Laura, Veronica Speedwell. Wassail Kirsty. I was thinking about you because I'm back home. And I was thinking we should go somewhere lovely together. Wassail Professor Greenleaf. Wassail Angela Moon. That's a new way to say your name. Look, everybody, I'm going to be a bit overexcited today. I was really trying to stay very centered and calm, and I'm not actually sure that's possible. Excellent, Kirsty. There's so many places to see. Oh, can we go to Greenwich together, Kirsty? Because I want to go to Greenwich to the 0 degree meridian line and maybe show people time. So, yeah, oh, look, after the longest pilgrimage journey I'm back home in the UK and Liffruma has gone on sale today. Now, today, if you add up the 1st of the 5th, 2023, it makes 13. And I rather love 13. And 13 is the magical frequency hidden inside the Liffruma deck. So that was very synchronistic. I'm also staying at my friend's house, which is named 13. It's not numbered. It actually has the number written out above the door in glass. So I'm in 1313. I began the reading at 1313 GMT. And this is also my 600... Oh, fabulous, Kizzy. It's also my 693rd video, rather synchronistically. So that's the Tesla code, which is also hidden inside this deck. Well, not hidden. It's there for you to see and count out. Wassail Beautiful. And I just sang that the wrong way around. I'm so sorry, Olga. So, we're here and we can have some fun. Just need to just... No, listen, congratulations also must go to Kathy, who has been doing the most sterling job on the business side of all this. I want to say I'm really rubbish at business. I'm not, but... Wassail, Steph, please. I haven't emailed you back yet, but please just send me your article that you've written for Liffruma.com. I was kind of waiting till this moment so that when I get it, it can go into the post, because we were kind of like holding off on Liffruma.com so that we didn't get too carried away with ourselves while the deck was still languishing in the desire to get out and be untamable, as the first two cards said. So yeah, Kathy has been the amazing workhorse. I want to say, Kathy, you're a work and she's still doing, she's already replying to emails that people are asking, Wassail's an only snowflake, how are you all? I'm delaying shuffling the cards. Yes, go Kathy, exactly, go Kathy. Kathy has been an amazing, wonderful, really loving and supportive friend. And we've worked together through this deck an awful lot. And as I say, I think Kathy's kind of like the magic materializer. She has that skill to bring something from the esoteric into the, oh look, it's a Liffruma deck. Actually, it's 3 Liffruma decks. So this is the very first ever deck when there was just one. And it has no protective coating, and I really want it to last, so I don't like to shuffle it anymore. I just want to keep this as a memory of a time that we all travelled together. And then this deck is one of the first 50 that I got that came in the beautiful bag from Kathy. And then this deck is one of the ones that you can now purchase, because at every moment we were still fiddling with the deck to make it perfect. Wassail, la 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 Clayton. Yes, as Kathy has just said, it is available to purchase. A round of applause for Liffruma. Wassail and McBeatty. Oh, Anne just bought her deck. Well done, Anne. They are selling very, very quickly, and I feel really bad because we chose the time we chose so that wherever you lived in the world, it would be the 1st of May, because that was the day we hoped for. And as I said, it's a 13 when you add it together. It's also my mother's birthday, and that's always been a very auspicious day for me. And this morning I got up and I got cards 63 and 68, which are the years my brother and myself were born. And so I felt like his spirit was trying to give me a message, Opalagu. And then I knew I had to go and look for my parents' birth years, because I've never thought about that. And actually it was card needle, which is to mend. But the needle card was showing me the eye hole of the needle as being the birthing tunnel that my mother created my life through. And my father, that's 41, and then my father was born in 1940, and that's the all room, which is on the back of the deck, and that's all the magic. So, I'm having a beautiful day so far. It's Jack in the Green, it's May Day. And there's 60 to 80,000 people dressed in green, and lots of bikers as well. There's 2 different celebrations that always take place on the first bank holiday Monday in May, but this year it actually falls on the correct day, May Day. And so they're all dressed in green, doing Jack in the Green and celebrating the return of nature to the world. And I'm in green just to go along, but I couldn't go down there. I knew we would be doing this today, and I needed to be in my energy, not everybody else's. Because since I've come back here, my empathic energy has been so open. I'm confusing everybody else's emotion with my own. And really picking up, and it's not comfortable, I'm really picking up what needs healing in people, like a physical feeling within me. But I think that's because right now, having been on this journey through France, Portugal, and then South America, I feel like I'm in a place of feeling incredibly healed. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. It's just all synchronized magic today, ever since I got up. The first thing that happened when I got up was my whole body vibrated into a new dimensional frequency. It was nice. I'm just having tea as well. Genma chai. I can't say it. It's roasted rice and green tea. So, when I was in Ecuador and the first 50 decks were being sent out by Kathy, I wrote a list of Wassail. Someone else was going to say Wassail Kissy Cat again. Wassail Kirsty. I wrote a list of 78. Oh, are there? I'm not looking for orbs now, but I stayed here because there's been so many. I thought on the day that we launch this deck, I really should sit in the orbular magic. There are 78 runes in this deck. It's a massive amount of cards, and there are poems on all of the cards. So I've got these titles. It's very strange having been on a 2.5 year meander around the world. I walked half the world to say you are my muse. And now you can actually buy it. It's a very huge shift energetically, and I'm still not sure how that feels. So I've got 78 titles, and I thought maybe with this first 50 deck we could draw the title, and then we can shuffle Liffruma, the new one, and see. Look, it's just being comical. It's showing me Ur again that it showed me at the beginning. Liffruma is free and untamable. I'll tell you something about the deck. It's a cheeky, loving, healing deck, but it has got the most wicked sense of humour. It plays with you. It's got cat qualities. Once it's captured you, it plays with you. So, beautiful people. Let's get a title for a reading. Let's get a title for a reading. Wassail Teresa Tufel. Something very rhythmic about your surname. Tufel. Yeah, do you know what, Steph? It has been the most beautiful journey. Meeting everyone, talking with everyone, discovering things, channeling with everyone. It's been an absolute privilege. Oh, and there's my mum's card at the bottom now. Wassail rain is clips. I'm feeling so naughty and playful. So, Liffruma, just one, please, if you can, for a title. Give us a title for a reading. I can't remember any of these titles. I channeled them all. Got no idea what they are. So, I just saw health, card 61. We'll get 9 next. So, come on, Liffruma. What magic have you got up your sleeve? I just want to say you really do, if you want to buy this deck, you are going to have to hurry, because at the moment, the UK and Europe are fully awake, and they're already buying, and the USA on the whole has not quite got up. It's a little bleary-eyed still, but it's selling fast, and as I said, we've only got 500, so... Let's have a title, please, Liffruma. I can feel the other deck going, you're not shuffling me. I'm like, I will in a minute. Be patient with me. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, it's giving me 2. I'm not doing 2 titles. You see, it was just taking its time to align the cards. It brought itself out with hell. The returning light, and in this card, this beautiful figure of hell in the wonderful star cosmic dress. That's Rune. So let's see whether these 2 titles go together. So 58 is Crumpets with Trolls. Lunch with the Trolls. And 76 is Cobwebs and Bromsticks. So, I'm going to put them there so that I don't accidentally try to put them in to this deck, so that there's 2 Liffruma and 2 Hell cards. So I guess we begin with... You see, they're immediately saying it's having tea with your shadows. So today in the columns readings that I did, it's about writing a love letter to yourself. And that's a very energetic, relevant still. This, in a way, as a deck, feels like a vast love letter, not just to myself, but to everyone. It just feels like a huge love letter. It's like a magic book, but the pages haven't been bound together so that you can actually read the stories inside the Liffruma magic book in your own way and how they speak to you. Wow, thank you, Carla. Carla's bought. Yeah, there's so many things I've been dying to share, but you all need a deck. I want to show you how to play with the deck, but I need decks out there so that you can do it. So I'm going to read the Liffruma poem because it's the first card and it wants to announce itself. So this is Elven light and it's benefic. So the Elven ring is the singing of love. This sound resounds from high above everything and hums below a long, slow ground bass flow. Core of frequency, vibrations holding form, animating all atoms throughout time and beyond. Bask in the bliss. But know this, you are a voice in that elven light. You are here, alive, and there, holding tones for everyone and everything. We are all one in Liffruma. So that's Liffruma's opening message. It's tea with trolls, but troll is the card of night. And it's about how we troll ourselves. Oh, wow. Zanoni is the first person to purchase 2. Thank you, Zanoni. We're going to run out before I finish this reading. So let's see what Tea with Trolls is all about. Tea with Trolls. Tea. Just every reading is about this. This is the last card in the deck, and it's all about the journey back to home, which I've done. I was away for 2.5 years, almost 3, and it's the journey back home. Have I arrived? So, what do we have? Begin. Begin the journey back home. Oh. Begin returning to yourself. It's so gorgeous. Begin. So, but this is about being in the energy of a new home. But by that, I don't mean that you move house necessarily. It's the energy of being in a new celestial city, the seat of your soul, bringing yourself back in, beginning. And it's interesting, this card, the poetry on this card is there. The poetry talks about how poplar trees can send out underground shoots and then little nodules are on them. And when the tree gets damaged, it can start to grow again from a new space. So it's the same tree, but it's slightly in a different location. And that's talking about kind of emotional dimensions. Yeah, and Francesca Anna Victoria Louise, she moved. Sorry, I gave you some extra names there. And then it's like, this always happens after forest fires and poplar trees grow from new spaces on their roots. And there's something about earth grip that is almost like the dry earth after a fire. But this card is also giving me the energy of remembering that your body belongs to the earth, your cells belong to the earth. And so actually the journey home begins consciously, but the truth of the journey home is when you plant and push all of your energy back into the seat of your soul, into your sacral, and you become one with your cells. Because I think a lot of the time we think we're one with ourselves, but our body and biome are always doing something a little bit different. So I'm going to add a little bit more to this Liffruma returning light. Stenkness. This is a card that it's interesting how cards have an energy when they're conceived and you work on them and people channel different energies, and we've all discussed them. Wassail G, purchase your deck. Woohoo! I can't look, but you have to be quick, people. So this card has become something very different. It's an energy of almost being too fearful to pass a test. So being on a spiritual journey and reaching a point where you kind of want to acknowledge a healing, but there's something that comes along that is that crumpet with trolls. It is that energy of the trolls coming together around you, and they're energetically appearing like, that's interesting. And they're appearing like a circle of ancestors, and this circle of ancestors are trying to say to you, we left this coding in you, this troll energy code, this night energy code, and we really need you to fix it in you, because that will fix it in us. It's like it's like all your ancestors left a little memory of their own inner troll for you to go and have crumpets with. And if you don't know crumpets, oh my goodness, I haven't had a crumpet since I was back. Might have to remedy that today. So, Kirsty, crumpets and English muffins. I haven't had English muffins, used to like them, but crumpets. A really toasty crumpet with just some butter and jam. I don't usually like jam. So yeah, the crumpets with your inner trolls is what's coming across here in this Liffruma message. What else? What else do you want to say? Yes, so Rune is the rare gazelle. I just bought a pair of shoes that are called gazelles, and they're in soft pink. Very, very Liffruma. I would show you them. They're just outside, but I'm not getting up at the moment. 10039. Oh, that's a 13, isn't it? I'm obsessed with 13s today. Today, always. So come on, let's complete crumpets with trolls. I want crumpets. So crumpets, they're these little round discs, and they're cooked very, very slowly, and they have very large gaseous holes in their mix. And when you toast them and put butter on, all the butter sinks into the holes so that you can have a butter overdose. I used to make strumpets. Yeah, they're not, I don't know that they are English muffins. Maybe they are crumpets, but we have another muffin that's called an English muffin. And it's not sweet. It's a little flat thing that's dusted in a fine grade maize. And they're delicious with, you know, sausages and cheese. They're much more of a kind of savoury. And I'm always a savoury lover first. Wassail Holly. So crumpets with trolls. We're still getting there. We're on the test. So the test, this Stenkness card always comes across as something that you make bigger and more frightening than the reality of it. So this kind of dragon energy appears to test whether you're ready, and you're not ready if you're not ready. If you can't move. Yeah, I'm sorry, Laura. I'm hungry now. I made a curry last night, though. So yeah, it's a test that's not as enormous as you think. It's a threshold that we need to pass over. So this is showing me, it's like this threshold. You can see this crack in the earth, this dry, arid threshold. It's nothing to concern yourself about. You can step over the threshold much more readily and easily than you imagine, but you have to deal with your swelterness. You have to move the past. If you want tea with your crumpets so that actually the crumpets and the trolls can all move on, you have to accept that your life can be emotionally and energetically easier and more comfortable than you allow it to be. I've dropped a card. I can't find it because I'm trying to... Will I do my own crumpets? I might have to. So strumpets are when you do them with sourdough, and you just take liquid sourdough starter and you drop some bicarb and salt into it, and it reacts with the acid and it makes it fizz, and you can cook them instantly. And they're little, you can put them in crumpet rings to make them thicker, but they're more like little pipe clips. But they're so sour and so gorgeous. Sorry, Raza. Explore your inner crumpet. Explore your ancestral trolls. The energies left behind is the message. And this deck, honestly, it's on sale. Did you know? This will help you. That's what Liffruma is here to do. Liffruma is here to help. Wassail Beautiful. So one more, please. One more. One more card, please, Liffruma. Oh, I'm hearing Dixit Dominus by Handel in my head. Dixit, Dixit, Dominus, Dominus. There we go. Oh, what a beautiful ending. So we have Hod. It's the hidden. It's the trolls you hide, the crumpets in the cupboard that you won't let anyone else near for fear that they've gone off. They haven't gone off. They're just sitting in perfect stasis, waiting for you to put them under the toaster. Or if you've got an open fire, you can put them on a fork, because that's a very old British thing, to toast your crumpets like marshmallows, but slower. Way! So we have the idea of exploring your inner truth, your inner ancestral truth, but it's your inner ancestral trolls. That's the energy I'm really getting from this message. To journey back home, to begin your journey back to yourself, you have to begin by clearing the echoes of the trolls that were left by your toasty trolls. That's perfect. So I didn't know whether I was going to use the ceramics today, because it feels like the very, very worst teas in the world. So Daniela, my beautiful friend who I'm staying with, has been learning ceramics, and she's made me the entire Liffruma deck as stones. Whoa, Wassail Pure Potentiality has just purchased 2 decks. Not ancestors, ancestors. So eventually, once Liffruma as a deck, this beautiful card. Yeah, Kathy's going to be so busy. She's got Eve coming, Everlong Mystic, who's on a plane now to go and help Kathy. They're going to play post offices. I just hope they've got a nice stamp. There's nothing more pleasurable than stamping things. Yeah, I think that our ancestors are just willing us to clear the fogs that they left behind. And there is something, Olga, where I always feel when we enter the astral, we journey through energy fields that our ancestors have left behind. And so sometimes I'm always like, it's time to spring clean the astral. I swept outside today because I felt like it was an energy, it was a brumming energy that I needed to do. So I went outside and swept. So, here we have the ceramic rooms. I love this sound so much. The ceramics have got this strange metal chiming that goes on. So we will be making these two at some point, but not yet. I'm not finishing any sentences today. Here we go. What have we got to begin with? Flursa. And this is a 13. So, I love the sound of the ceramics so much. I think that's why I was just... It also, Olga, it feels like you put your hand into liquid glass as you move. So here is Flursa, 13 frequency. It's actually Rune 67. And that's about flowing. So with Björk, it's you have to begin flowing to your inner trolls. You have to decide it's time to have crumpets and tea maybe with your inner trolls, your ancestors. Like an ancestral party is required at some point. You don't have to do it today, although I really want crumpets now. This is just for Olga. So look, I talked about the threshold, and we have here the gathering Gaderung card. And this always reminds me, because one of its messages is channeling, but it's a ganunga gap that's been opened to allow new energy to flow through. It's like this tear in the ground, this threshold is open. You've opened it in one door. Your ancestors have opened the other door. And all you need to do now, just squeeze yourself right through your sacral, all clean. No, you can't eat muffins as crumpets. They're such a different thing. I'm sorry, crumpets is crumpets. Muffins is muffins. I know it should be R. Oh, look. This is coming with, this is Hagal. So this is rune number 9. And it's posing the question, how many times are you gonna, I was gonna say weather the test, but they're like, no, just say it bluntly. How many times are you gonna present yourself with a test and just keep failing it? Through fear. Because the world wants to, the world wants to support you. Your ancestors want to support you. They're pointing out the 9-9 energy here from 18 and 27 suddenly. There's a lot of 2s and 7s, like a journey that was started, a pathway that was begun by ancestors, and a pathway that you can complete, because we've got 2-9, so 2, there's 7-7, 6-2, 7-3, 2-7. When you can bring the energy of what the ancestors started and decide that you're going to be the one that stops not crossing the threshold, but allowing yourself to flow into the new, they will transform things. I need to put one on Hemphoreld. For some reason, that one was absolutely, they hodded me and made me not see that I was pulling for Hemphoreld. So I'm going to pull for Hemphoreld last. We're going on to Raza, the exploration. So Raza is a stung rune version of Nide. Nide is our shadows. But this card talks about, instead of thinking, I'm scared of the darkness, I'm scared of my shadows, I'm scared of all those things that might come out and get me. The trolls, you know, you've been trolling yourself. Why are you scared of the other trolls? You're a big troll. We're all a big troll at times. But this is about exploring the darkness with your light. When your inner light shines, you eliminate the darkness. There's nothing to be frightened of. Wassail sacred creative sound. Wassail one healer on one. So, and now we have the energy of Brom. Brom is the broom. It's the thing we use to sweep. And it sweeps away bloodstains originally. So knee holly was used to clean off the wood where a butcher was spilling a lot of blood. So, and then we end with newer. Well, we're not ending because I've got to do one for Hemphoreld, but this is coming across. Newer is the energy of springtime. It's an astral spring clean in many ways, this energy here. But it's talking here about how what's unseen, the things that your own inner troll cards, energies won't let you see, is that you already have the blueprint that's paused and it's waiting for you to catch up. So let's get one for Hemphoreld. Yeah, I think we are stepping into a new form of consciousness. So last of all, so this is card 77. This is Rune 0, the Ganunga gap. So when I said this one is the Ganunga gap opened, you can see why I see that. So if you can go and have crumpets and tea with your ancestral trolls, you will be able to refocus your truth through your sacral and begin a new life, a new start, a zero energy frequency. That's gorgeous. I love this deck. And thank you to everyone who's made it possible. Wassail Plasmo. So, I need to put them all back in the right deck. So these two belong to this deck. Pop them back. And we'll do another. We'll go with another title. So, you can buy the deck. I just want to say, what? They're not coins. I didn't say your name then. I started singing and read your message. Wassail little wing. My friend Daniela has always come out again. Has made me all of the Liffruma runes, all 78 of them, as a bag of ceramics in black, green and white. And there's one in the pocket. It's Leche, the emotional bleed. So now we're going to go back. So yes, the deck is available in the Liffruma shop, but there are only 500 of them. And it is selling really, really quickly because the time we chose was so that it would all be the 1st of May all around the world when it went on sale, rather than it being another day in some places. And it meant Europe was awake and Europe's out there chasing that purchase train. So I'm going to rifle through the deck. And then we're going to pick a new title. Yeah, we will eventually, once Liffruma is selling and people are more familiar, because I think at the moment, just seeing this, I keep pulling the same rune out, the Gathering, Gaderung, Rune 74, so there's 78 of them. I think to begin with, people need to see the cards with their poems and get used to the rune symbols before we release the ceramics. And actually, there's only one version of the ceramics, just as this deck is the original very first deck. So we got a couple of firsts here today. Did I just rifle them or did I just chit chat? Got Ophalagoo on the split. Right, so let's find from 1 of 50 rather than 1 of 500. Let's see Sunsteader, Kathy, and Rippian. Sorry, Kathy, I need to just say again, Kathy has been the most amazing friend of Liffruma, and she has made this deck happen in so many ways, and I'm so grateful for our friendship. So, let's get a title from the readings that the titles that I wrote about 6 months ago. And let's see what the title for the next reading is, and then we'll take 1 of 500 and see what it's on the bottom again. It just said, did you know I'm called Liffruma? No, we're not taking 3. We want single cards. Thank you, Kathy. So, now there's the card of the year I was born. I've just seen the card of the year my brother was born. I'll have my mum and dad again next. Because that's how I started the day, with all 4 cards of my family. So, let's just get a title, please, Liffruma. There's people out there. Ooh. So that one hiding in the pocket that was in there, Leche, is giving us 72 as the next reading. So let's find out the title of 72. Fenria's Rumblings. So Fenria, for anyone that doesn't know, is the giant wolf. And they have to trick the wolf because Odin has a dream where Eor, or Jorkmangandir, and his brother Fenrir, so the snake, the wolf, and then Hel, the girl who looks after all those people that don't die honourable deaths, they're predicted to cause the end of Odin's world, a Ragnarok. And so they get the dwarves to make unbreakable thin threads to hold Fenrir in a prism. So, Fenrir's Rumblings. Yes, thank you, Kathy, for all the work you did put in and all the tears. So, what are Fenrir's Rumblings? What's the message that Fenrir wants to share here? There's like a little very slow, clumsy poet comes out with this deck. It's because it's all got poetry in it. So what's the opening gambit here? Oh, Birthright, Edel. This is an interesting card because it has Othala in the old name, but in Anglo-Saxon it's an Edel. Followed by Feo. Oh, that's animals that are in prison. So Fenria's rumblings, there's an energy here of acknowledgement of the prisons that we're meant to be in, or the pens that we put ourselves in, or the boundaries, the confinements that life brings to us. And Fenria understanding there's something here within this energy of knowing still that there's a birthright, which is Ragnarok, and we can all create our own personal Ragnarok. And then there it is, the Gaderung, the gathering, the returning to the world. It's very much that kind of energy, becoming part of something renewed. And the last card in the opening is Feor, which is almost, it's aether life. It's this energy of, like portals, frequencies. So how long do you want to wait in your own constructed prison? And it's like a past but present prison. It's the way in which we trap ourselves in repeating thoughts that don't allow us to walk through the gate. It's this gateway again, the threshold that we're scared to step across. And really, we're trying to come back. Wow, and it's interesting because it's not coming back in many ways. We're trying to get out of the prison so that we can return to a world that is highly energetic and awakened. So I'm going to read you the Gaderung card. Apparently I'm going to read you them all. Because the Fruma's like, you can't really keep skipping our poems because they're part of the energy. So we're going to begin with Edel. Edel. Which is legacy or original birthright. So what defines you? Your family, their possessions, or all they leave to you through inheritance. Is that estate fated to define you from birth, written into your body codes? Or will you seek your original birthright, move past all that falsely defines you, and find the full truth of thyself? What frequency is the true you? Claim it. So this is the first card in this Fenrir reading. This is everyone's truth. We all have a legacy frequency. We all have your own truth without the influence of others. And we just had tea with our trolls. So now this is about letting ourselves out to play with all the awakened ones. So let's have a little look at this, because this card is often thought of as a card of wealth, like a 10 of Pentacles, but it's the first card in the Elder Thuthark. It's like the original 24 runes begins with the journey of what do you own? What livestock have you hemmed in? What possessions have you put a fence round? And they're like a red line. No one gets to go into that space. That space is blocking your original birthright. It's the box. When we say think outside the box and I say throw away the box, this is the box you need to throw away. Yes, it does define you. It does bring you comfort and it does bring you wealth. But it's also a barrier to your true frequency. So, Feo, which is wealth or livestock. Captured form festers, held static, possessed. Hemmed in, penned in, rammed and wrecked. Atoms wrestle, molecules jostle, whims of wealth wilt and melt and die back. This cluster clings, that cluster crawls, and another claims greater importance than all. What does wealth conquer? When you have another birthright. And then breaking free from this energy. You know, Leche is about changing your emotional instruction, stopping allowing that emotional bleed that we all have, where our emotions flow out and we don't hold them in a true energy. So now the Gaderung. So the poem of Gaderung. This is the gathering, and it's also channeling, because it's the opened ganunga gap so that energy can flow through. And that's what this is really talking about, these wormholes, which are interdimensional passageways. And actually, they're there all around us. You can go for a walk and pass through several different dimensions. I went out to do a sound healing on Saturday evening, and we sat around their open fire and everything tuned in to the healing in the house space. And then as we got up to leave and left their gate to walk down the path to the car, it was like I hit such a different frequency from the energetic of the healing, loving fire space, where we'd all been looking at visions of miniature scenes moving inside the fire as embers. It was like being drunk and almost collapsing, because I couldn't fit the frequency that my cells were resonating at as I left the fire to come back into the energy of walking down a normal frequencied pathway to journey back into Hastings. So those dimensional paths, we're walking through them all the time. It's a little like if you go out to work and there are people in your work who make your energy feel other. I don't want to say higher or lower, because I think it's in more directions than we imagine. But if there are people who make your frequency other than your truth that you live in, and that can sometimes include going back to visit old friends and family, then when you return home to yourself, you've almost got to bring yourself back to the frequency that is your truth, this legacy frequency. So this is the rumblings of Fenria. So, like stitching that pulls and draws, the gathering folds of fabric weave people together in kindredhood. A meeting, a greeting, a seat at a table where communities work out how to live harmoniously, how to support all folk, to house, to clothe, to feed each other with compassion and love, joined together to make a world where nobody hurts, falls down, or is forgotten, but is instead helped back onto their feet to thrive together. I absolutely love the poetry that was channeled for these cards. They all really speak to a philosophy that I think humankind is moving towards. I believe that, being very cardinal. It might be that many people can't see that, but those of us who can, we need to create that energy as our birthright, the energy to see a fair society where everyone counts. We're all part of humankind, and we're all part of the world. around us. So, Feor is the aetherlight. Now, aetherlight isn't like a physical fire. It doesn't burn you, but it burnishes things away. And there is a sense within the aether that it's just a kind of light. Where there are shadows, it brings light to remove the shadows. And when you step away from the aether, did you burnish these off or have they returned? So here we have the fiery cosmic wormhole heightens ancient dragon beams, intensifying sensory chimera codes that sweep down, bleed down, feed around your entire being, burnishing back delusions and deceits. Sacred fires bind to you, weaving new knowledge between yourselves, through yourselves, igniting and relighting the life that felt lost. The dragon's breath fuels and drives and delivers sacred enlightenment. So this is that area of life where it feels lost. It's like you created a fence, a ring fence around aspects of your life, and somehow you lost contact with so many more things that want to pass through that are part of your humankind legacy, but you can't see them. They can't get in because you've put up so many strong walls. And so Fenria's rumbling at you to break free. And even if you have to bring your own Ragnarok, then that's the thing. Oh, did you just pull fair? I love that Steph has a deck. So, a little bit more from Fenria. I'm not taking cards that don't jump. That was Mona, the moon. And over here, so this is kind of what's going on inside your Feor, inside your hemmed in, penned in energy. It's all becoming very static. The spark is still there. And yet you've allowed kind of cobwebs over your possessions. Things that really, if they got cobwebs on, you don't need them. Because it means you haven't looked at them for ages. They've become the possession of other creatures. And then it's ending with, when you take down the walls, when you remove the fencing that you've ringed yourself with to return to a better dimensional space of freedom, this divine spark will ignite your water meadow. So this is 22. This is very much an energy of the sacred, but here's the interesting thing. It's almost doing the reverse of what it usually does. And it's like your legacy needs this energy lighting it. But this energy is somehow coming in as conscious thought. And when placed on top of that symbol, you get this rune. You get the Ing rune. This is the water phoenix energy. When we've reached an emotional low and we reorder, free, or explore the truth of our emotions, then we have a water phoenix moment. And my second crow on my chest is a water phoenix. It's coming from the water, my crow here. It's hugging and mugging, or mugging and thugging. So let's put some ceramics. ASMR. Listen to this. Oh, see? Evel, your birthright is to return to your light, to your truth. This is Hel. And that is Fenria's sister, Hel. How do we get Jormungandr? Oh look, 3333 across the top. Ooh. So here we have Condor. Condor is the cosmic energy of a giant frequency candle that I feel, because it's cosmic doubt, it's again showing the energy of not allowing the truth of the current cosmic benevolence to enter your current storeroom. It's covered in cobwebs. So let's get Gaderung, a little rune. It's weird being live again, people. So I was doing lots of lives at the end of my journey. And when I came home, I had to sit and do a whole series of pre-records. So this one, I've forgotten what this one is. It's these short twigged ones and long branch runes from medieval Scandinavia. They throw me out. So it's not leaf, so it must be was. But I have to just check these because they're in a little cycle all of their own. It's not Rippian either because it's the reverse way, but I'm pretty sure. Come along now, come along. Yeah, it is, it's was. So this, yeah, it is, it's was. Well done, Kathy. So this is was. This is the rising gathering, the Gaderung, the channeling. As you move, as you clear, and look, you don't have to do anything vast and dramatic. You can do everything with Liffruma in tiny steps. They might sound grand, but quite often that's part of our own, not just our fears that we have, but also the dangers of our own spiritual egotism that can shine through. It has to be a cautioned journey where we're keeping ourselves in check so that we're really journeying to ourselves. Spiritual egotism is a bit like a messiah complex. So I don't know why that's being brought in, but it is. And then the Aether Fire is the energy of an Ophalagu, the option to move into a new energetic frequency. That's what's being offered through bringing walls down that you keep as sacred. And then we have Ing. We have Ing, Ing, Ing. Oh! And here we have Dej. So Rune 24 in the original Thuthark, coming in to say you purge a huge part, which is this Feo energy, this energy of the hemmed in, penned in. And over time, as you remove more and more and reveal more and more of your original Edel birthright, you pass through the eye of a needle and you come out with a projection that's exactly the same size, but it's now wired through your body and it's filled with new energy. I actually got those cards laid down the wrong way around, but it doesn't matter. So we're ending with the divine spark. What is needed to trigger the divine spark? A troth, a love letter to yourself. Be honest with yourself about what you really require and desire from life. So there's a real sense of us deluding ourselves so often. So the rumblings is know what you want, know your own truth, and then take down your old life to create your new one. And as I said, it doesn't have to be huge and vast and dramatic. It just needs to be stepping and actioning changes incrementally so that you can build your new pathway. And look, it could take you a year or two. It could take you a decade. That doesn't matter. That's the speed that your journey wants to be walked at. There's no need to feel someone coming to you with some great spiritual epiphany and you thinking, I've never had anything like that. Because you're then inheriting someone else's story or narrative that stops you defining your own. We need to be true to our own journeys. So, how is everyone? Well, I have to say, Wild Wolf Woman, you have to ask and find and search for your walls. And I've spent many moments thinking, but I've dealt with that pattern and I haven't. And then you begin to be aware of patterns. And even when you've worked on patterns, because they're all woven into the same tapestry, they're all part of the threads that stitch in, one pattern can allow us to think we've moved on, but sometimes that pattern is twisted and woven into another pattern that can then do that was energy and rise up and make you understand something else that you can remove, release, or shine your light into so that it no longer frightens us. There are a lot of energies that we project onto others and see in others that we are hiding from, so that our own selves don't see that energy. We push it onto others. It's a very strong projection thing that we do. And we can talk about someone and say they do this and they do that and I don't like that about them. But as soon as you find that coming out of your mouth, stop and ask yourself, is that a truth within you that you've hidden so well you can only see it in another? So, I'm not saying you personally, but your comment allowed me to open that energy, so thank you. So, we're back on Earth Grip. Earth Grip 29. So that's the title. Well, that's not the title. It's the number of the title. No, I don't know. I think being awake is being aware of a journey. I think really we are awake when we go on a spiritual path, but I don't think there's an epiphany point where people have some kind of grand spiritual meeting point with others. It's all much more subtle and much more gentle. And it's something that we transform slowly, and there is no rush. It's not a race because someone else has experienced a particular spiritual moment. It doesn't mean that we ever will in that way, because everything's our truths and they have to make sense to your journey. Let's have a bit more of this tea because it's cold now. So this is a lovely cup that Daniela made, and I absolutely love it because it's got a huge hand for big-handed people. I see. Wassail Vasily. I saw Vasily Kandinsky written there in my head. Who had synesthesia. And so that's all part of different territories for awakening. So Vasily Kandinsky was a Russian artist, I think. But when he saw colour, when he applied colour to canvas, he could hear music and sounds that matched the shapes and colours. And there are lots of artists and musicians who have different forms of synesthesia. And they believe that when we're in our delta brainwaves, when we're infants, we are also synesthetic and we learn to separate our senses out. And that's interesting because I'm now being told we also learn to separate out our intuition very often. Oh, great, Zanoni. Yeah, it fascinates me. I have moments of synesthesia, but fortunately they're not permanent. Because I think they can be quite hard in a world where most people don't experience them. So what's the title of 29? Elven Times. So this is like a newspaper. I'm assuming it's the Elven Times. What do the Elven Times, what do the elves want to say? What's on the Elven Times? What's on the Elven Times? So we're beginning with elks. And then we have Sunsteader. And then we have Edel again. So give me a moment. There's something about versatility, but there's something about, in this elk's card, the elk is usually singing tunes, but there's a silence being shown to me here in the elk's mouth. But it's talking about not being versatile. So I'm going to read you the poem so you understand where I'm coming from. This is about learning to speak truths. That's the energy here. And learning to speak your truths will allow you to speak rarefied cosmic truths. So this is somehow about that awakening, connecting process that we all go through. So elks is elks, and it's also protection. So bugle calls, communication rules. Listening is key to understanding. Elk command respect. So I'm going to read this again because actually what they're saying to me is that I need to change in this reading the word elk for elf every single time, because then it will make more sense in this reading. Bugle calls, communication rules. Listening is key to understanding. Elves command respect to protect anything. Is that a vocal fawning or a defensive warning? Hark. Elves can bark, chirp, whistle, mew, bray, bleat, sing, scream, and chuckle. Can you call an elf to find your voice and stand your ground. So what they were showing me while I read that was elves being very much like the energy in Wakand, the card where creatures from the natural world hone in on you and give you the eye. They look at you, they stare at you. But this was about noises around you, animal calls out there, sometimes not really being animals, but being an elf trying to bring you an awareness of the natural world. And the elves are coming across as the majesty of animism. And animism is when we accept that there are spirits inside all things in the world, both living and dead, because within the dead, like I keep talking about this table, but there's an energy echo of the spirits of the tree that was felled to make the table. So now we have Sunsteader in Elven times. Wassail Caroline Vania Roberts. So for some reason, Caroline, you've come in to remind me just briefly to say, obviously, you can now buy the Liffruma deck, but you do need to be very quick because it's selling out and Europe is awake, but the USA isn't. So you will get your deck of cards and you will get a nice medieval, it's not medieval, but it reminds me of a little medieval Hessian sack. So you have a sack of runes. There's no booklet because it's all on the cards. These are the pages of the Liffruma magic book. And you lay them out and you read the stories. But there is additional help on the website, liffruma.com. I know you knew that, Karen, but for some reason, as soon as I said hello to you, it was like I was reminded to repeat. So here is the message of Sunsteader. We are in an eclipse tunnel, people, and that's very much part of the energy of this. Solstices, equinoxes, but it's also the energy of the sun, the moon, and the earth, and how they play relationships with each other. So here is a poem for Sunsteader. The place, the space where the sun shines, the spot. But what if it stopped? Sister Sunna, brother Moona, and mother Earth dance together, and at rarefied moments they hold hands and all become one. Light is eclipsed, shadows fall and crawl round, seasons are set with solstices, so we might mark our lives. That's when we gather to hold hands, sing together, enwrapped by the magic of life's mystic cycles. There's a huge elven celebration going on within this card. So this calling to you by the elves or by the spirits that are just watching everything. Because remember, we are all part of the elven ring energy. We are here, but some part of my soul and your soul and everybody's soul is also in the elven ring, singing the tones that make this world possible. So if we change how we sing to the world, and that's what this is about, how we sing back to the world around us, that will bring everybody's birthright. Not just yours, but everybody's birthright. That's a nice message. And it's interesting, it talks about Sister Sun, Brother Moon, and Mother Earth. And the total of the cards is a 3. But I keep getting this message that 3, while a magic number, is not the magic number of that a 4 is within the runic landscape. Because we need to be aware of the fact that we have biome, body, mind, and spirit. Oh, and there, just giving me a little nudge again to remind us all. Won't leave me alone, this card. So, what else, Elven Times, the newspaper? Is there an advert? Oh, there is. It says Liffruma.com is available for sale. So, here we have Hagal. I'm going to do that one in isolation before putting the 2 other runes that I'm hoping will come. Because I think I can control the deck. And ask it to give me just 2 cards. It will do what it wants. It has a mind of its own. So Hagal is about hailstones and weathering. It's about how long we spend trying to recreate life. So Hagal is hail and weathering. And remember that the hailstones, while they can hurt us because they're frozen pieces of ice, when they are in our hands or we hold them, they melt. We can melt the waters to bring new frequencies. So a cosmic crisis has been created. All the time, Orthumbla, and that's the holy cow in the Ganunga gap, Orthumbla licks the frozen salty rime to form the milk of existence that sustains Ymir. But Ymir's not here anymore. So I'm not going to read this very well. So Ymir is the hermaphrodite giant at the beginning, before time and before place, in the Ganunga gap. And she feeds him the milk of existence, and she creates that by licking the frozen salt rime. Where heat, fire from her tongue meets ice, there is creation. So Ymir's not here anymore. His skull is now the heavens, and his icy tears rain down on Midgard, cascading and crashing, darting and dashing into our faces, forcing painful, stabbing wounds that must be felt before they melt and flow away. Uncomfortable truths. But so this is standing alone, this energy. It is a divine energy. If we want to connect to a greater sense of spirits, the elves, the magic of the world all around us, the greater cosmos, and the truth of everybody's loving inheritance, we have to face uncomfortable truths about ourselves. I've been through so many, I just didn't list them because they're personal. They're not always going to matter to all of us. So there's something about the energy of, like, how long will you weather the pains of that we create for ourselves? How long will you cry? How long will you keep releasing without actually reforming the emotions? It's like you can keep crying hailstones, but you're letting them out in a kind of way because you're feeling sorry for yourself rather than feeling good for yourself. That's interesting. So this idea of crying tears of joy is actually a greater sense of clearance. There's something about tears of sadness that are, yes, an important release, but they are showing me the tears not being transformed from the hailstones. It's like, I've cried these tears for me, and I will cry these tears for me again. I'm never going to transform them. I'm just going to keep weathering and weathering and weathering the hail. I'm going to keep letting the pain hurt me until at some point I transform it and truly allow it to melt and flow away. So, oh, see, I didn't get two. You can't tell the Fruma what to do because it just won't do it. So we have Raza again. We have this exploration. So Raza's saying you didn't read me last time. So Raza is to explore and to alchemize. So alive and eager, desiring to dive and drink into the new. So look, that's the difference. The Raza is when you stop crying tears of hail, when you allow the cosmic crisis to actually be softened. It's a different frequency. So I'll start that again. Alive and eager, desiring to dive and drink in the new, all the old gold has dulled. Inventiveness slips in like a sea fret, curling its damp, vapory tendrils towards the land where you stand. Ran's mystical nautical daughters craft the waves, the crashing adventures seeking to sail you forwards to explore life, to alchemize potential and soar to your sacred shore. You choose when to heal. You choose when to move on. It's always there for you to work with. So what are the two cards that came with Raza? Oh, this is interesting. 733. 7333. I mean, we're just talking about threes. There's a lot of threes in this reading. 3723, 9, which is 3 threes. 7, 333. There are the 3 threes that make that up. So Gar is a spear, a trove. But when I see this card, it's like an opportunity because it's made up of Gifu, the gift, but it also has 2 ganunga gaps. And it always talks about shifting from one emotional, energetic, or dimensional space to another. And then horse, move. So I feel like I need to read them both. It's poetry day today. So Gar, spear, trove. A weapon of war. The spear inspires fear, yet it was created primarily to provide. Spearing food to feed families or champion communities. Crossed spears being symbolic of working together in united accord. This existed long before the need to put down all weapons in peace, to end all wars. To troth is to bind people together in an unbreakable bond of truth and companionship. 2 voids held open and separate, yet a sole purpose uniting them. So Odin's spear was so magical that you could troth a promise by holding the sword to another, and it's an unbreakable promise. Now, I don't really like the word promise because we promise to do things and we can't pull them off. But it's a kind of an acceptance and an understanding of a desire to action something. So here within the card, we're reading that energy of bringing others towards us, and you can have differing opinions, but that doesn't stop you being united in the Gifu energy, the gifting union energy. So almost explore the truths of others as you explore your own truth is a message that's coming. And then we have horse. Eye to eye, nose to nose. Lose yourself in the frequency of other. See, I can't remember all these poems. There's 78 of them. I remember bits of them. I'll start that one again. Eye to eye, nose to nose. Lose yourself in the frequency of other. Moving forwards with confidence or caution depends upon your heightened senses. What does the other need from you? What do you desire another to cover and comfort you with that you cannot do alone? Can you not feed yourself? Must someone else always lead you to the water? So this is an exploration of the energy of others so that you understand and have compassion for how other people think. There's no judgment made on them. It's merely an understanding of what is their current truth and accepting that everyone has a different current truth. And then looking back to yourself to bring yourself back to your truth. Yes, community. So let's get some ceramics. Okay, so this is newer. I'm actually not going to put them on the cards. I'm going to get a separate tailor message for newer. So this is new codes. Having a springtime moment. And this is vein. This is transformation. Not acting on the views of others. Understanding that others have views, but acting on your own truth, not somebody else's. That's really interesting. And then Lagu. So this, oh no, you. It's you. It's 13 frequency. So you have in you all the codings to be you. To be you. 9 and 13 is a number I keep getting. This energy of the divine. Creativity. So changing so much about yourself, switching the weathercock around. And then we have 59, which is Yana. So this is the energy of twisting and binding and wrapping yourself, entwining yourself with another, but still allowing the other their freedom to be their truth. So there's something here about what do you in these Elven times accept as the truth of love? Is it your rules or is it any rules, but you operate and shine within your own rules and you allow others to operate and shine within their own rules? Allow others their opinions and just keep shining in your truth, and then others may transform, but you can't make another transform to your will because that is immoral. And there it is. There's the lagoon. That is the sacred ocean saying that our relationships with others are best built in our own emotional truths. And then you are forgiving others, you are allowing others their space to be their truths. You're not trying to lead the horse to water. You're leading yourself to the water, and if someone comes along to share that water hole with you, that's a beautiful thing. So let's do another one. No idea how long I've been on, but I don't want to make this hours and hours. So the Fruma's on sale. I just want to remind you that you can buy the deck. You have to buy them quickly. And I just want to say thank you to Aidan Sherry, who did the background artwork for the deck, and to Rob and Rune, who channeled lots of the messages with us all that helped to shape the deck. And I want to say thank you to Kathy for being like Kathy, like a test subject. And going through the healing of each card with me as I edited them with her. Oh no, wrong deck. I had to go to the 1 of 50 to get the titles. You can't do that. We need a little bit of a shuffle. It's part of the deal. So, here we go. Let's have one more title for a reading. One more title for a reading. I'm getting really hungry now. If there's another title about crumpets or anything edible, I'm leaving. So we have a card. Well, I hope it's one. So this is the rarefied moment, the Sunsteader. Yes, you were completely and utterly pierced to tears, Kathy. So 37, the tree of me, the tree of me. And that's not me, I mean you, me. The tree of me, personal Yggdrasil energy. I did, and it was a pleasure to sit through them. So, the tree of me, I'm going to give these a rifle. It's getting really dark outside now, and the rain is just coming. It's a really massive festivity out there today. Everyone calling in the summer, and all dressed in green, and that's heavy rain. So glad I'm in here with all of you dry. So, the tree of me. The tree of me. What is the energy of the tree of me? Oh, it's really raining. The tree of me. The tree of me. So, we have two cards. Oh no. Oh, look. There's always one sneaking in from the last reading. So, I could see these two. The tree of me is most healthy when you allow magic into your future, because that will feed back into the now. And then we've got Elks, but Elks is talking about a sense of flexibility now. Elks is singing now. It wasn't singing before. So, I'm going to, this is a card of being still, being in a focus, being in a now moment. There's something about how you need to Galdia, you need to speak your future. And when I say speak your future, not your future now, although I love that word future now, but future incarnations. Speaking gratitude for the wondrous lives you will and have already led. That, yeah, they're a past life in that you may have lived them earlier, but their future in terms of where you are now in time. So we need to start to focus the energy on future lives that we may or may not have already led. But you have to see those lives in a greater sense of a united beingness and world or cosmos. So this energy of other times that are ahead, but you may have already done them. Soupy time. So we're beginning with the one Norn who hasn't been here yet, Scald. So earlier maybe I made that up. Did we have the Vandy? No, I think that was... I've been Back to the Future. It is all a bit soupy. So towardness is the future, but it's also the briars. So the gate of Bavandi is just the outsides of this card. And this energy here is kind of the briars, the ganunga gap of the future blocking your now moment. Because it's almost like we focus all of our lives on the idea that this consciousness is the furthest forwards in time we went, and all we have are past experiences and past lives. But that isn't the truth of it. We've had energies in both directions. This is a particular now moment in time that's just in this time here on planet Earth. So some of your past lives will have been on other planets in other galaxies, as will some of your future lives. It's just this is the now moment. So let's hear towardness. Yes, it is like ing with two pillars. So it's like there's a sacredness to that energy, Kathy, that's almost holding you static because it's part of another existence. So here is future briars or scald. At the entrance to the port gate of the future grows the tangled tapestry of the bleak briar forest. Scald weaves all that ought to be in the darkness neath the world tree. Unpick your future pathways built from the pains you project from your heart space. Prune the prickly path of your old future and renew your personal faith within. Glisten and glow like stardust, dispelling your briars to stroll with Scald, to walk your own new future. So being given this energy of the Norns giving you a tapestry of your life, there is no sense of karma in Norse mythology. You do everything you do because you were meant to do it. It's all part of your spiritual path. There are no moments that we can look back at shamefully, but we do because we're programmed by the Urva, past Sweldness energy, and the world in which we live that likes to wag a finger of blame at people and offer no forgiveness or compassion. It's such a crazy way in which, and currently that's almost resonating so profoundly powerfully. And yet, if you stay in that frequency, this tapestry that you were given at your birth will remain your journey towards your future and your eventual departure from life. But if you transform your world, if you go into this rare moment and work with your Yggdrasil tree, the darkness need the world tree. But this is about the darkness beneath your personal world tree, your personal Yggdrasil. You can actually plant a new Yggdrasil and start on a new journey that has a new future with less of the thorny briars blocking the energy flowing in either direction. It's like opening the door to your future so that it can feed into your now. And that will have past future memories. And then we have the elk singing. This is almost coming across this time as elven souls, elven frequencies singing from within your ringing tree, the singing ringing tree. Your personal Yggdrasil tree sings with elven light, but maybe you've dampened down the choir, the bird song in your personal Yggdrasil tree. There's something in this to do with your connection with the natural world. If you are, for instance, fearful of insects, then no insects will be in your personal Yggdrasil tree. And trees are homes to insects. If you're someone who is maybe afraid of birds, I mean, I don't like them flying around my head, but birds are a fascinating creature. They won't ring and sing and chirp and nest in your Yggdrasil tree. It's almost, the message is we have to open our energies to the natural world around us so that the natural world can harbour within our Yggdrasil tree to give us our personal world tree the chance to be full of nature and to grow comfortably into our future, but resonating and singing in the now. And then we have Weirtamir, and Weirtamir is the base of the Yggdrasil tree. So I'm going to read you, this is weirdness, and it's the all rooms. It's also on the back of the card. Because the 22 Elder Thuthark in their original angled drawings are all found inside this rune. Weird, W-Y-R-D, is very Anglo-Saxon. It's a concept of things beyond the veil. Your personal world tree, your personal Yggdrasil, that you're now trying to fill with all of nature, is ringing just behind the veil. And the veil is what is weird. So this is Weirtamir, the realm of weird. It's the all rune. I need some water. I also bought, so organised, rather than using my sleeve as I do normally. So Weirtamir, card number 40. This is my dad's year of birth. So mystical all rune, binding all tunes, singing all songs, righting all wrongs. Weirtamir, the deep, dark, rooted realm of the Norns, where they bind and weave all around us, the vibration underscoring everything. Weird is here. Weird is love. Endless, seamless, slow-flowing possibilities rooted in nutritious love, supporting all, both seen and unseen. Unpick the threads where you cannot sense the loving stitches. What weird magic will you weave now? That's gorgeous. I feel a sneeze coming on now. So let's get a few more runes on this personal Yggdrasil tree. Yeah, I love Weird is Love. Oh, there's a big cascade of cards with Gifu on the bottom. And it's strange. Unpick the threads where you cannot sense the loving stitches. This card begins Sacred Saxon cross stitch, cast to mask the purging and passing of that line to this time. So that's almost like the gift of receiving that new tapestry that will open a new magical future for you. Yeah, nutritious love. Isn't that a gorgeous idea? It's a little bit like food. You can eat something. I noticed the other day when I went into the local organic health food shop, and so many of the products are made with love, apparently. And I kept thinking, it's on a manufacturing process. It's on a kind of mechanical line, much of what is produced and sold in so many shops. And while it can have all of the nutritious value, because things haven't been made by humans lovingly, it has none of the nourishment. So we can keep eating food that was manufactured by machines and it will never sate us. It will leave us hungry, because even though it has the right nutritional balance, it's not nourishing. But this is talking about nutritious love, where the nutritious love is nourishing. So, there goes one over there. Whoop. So here we have the journey. Unsaddle from the tangled stitches. Just saying, there's a lot of stitches in this reading. Sorry. Unsaddle from the tangled stitches that hold you fast. Unbridle yourself from the shackles of the shadow mare. Slice free and set off out of fate's starter gate. Choose to ignore the curdling cries of the battle slain as they still shriek in sleep. Slip your knots and ride out. Do not force your horse to run a deathly course, but get down and walk your own journey. So your personal Yggdrasil tree is a journey to you. It doesn't involve another. It's the journey back to you. So I'm not sure whether you can see it fully in here, but there is a Pegasus with its wings riding upwards. But you'll see that when you purchase the deck. So, what else? Oh, look, Elks keeps coming up. And they're like, I saw with the 5, but they were like, please notice it's today's date, the 1st of the 5th. That's why I keep coming out. So now, there's never a more perfect card to have with towardness than Gare. These are the future sleepy stores that we need to fill that feed back into our now. So this one has the message, year or harvest, and it could be Gare, year, Jer. We don't really know how individual places said the G. So the year's gears turn, shattering summer's stolid stagnation. The astral rivers of the dream realms pour once more, from Asgard to Midgard, all along the slopes of the Bifrost Bridge. Autumn again emerges. Heimdallr sounds his cornucopia horn of plenty, as our just rewards are reaped for everything honestly sown, all harvests held safe inside winter's sleepy stores. So the message I'm getting from this is that our own personal tree, the tree of me, they all need a winter. They all need a moment, a time when we relax from our spiritual paths. We all need to have moments when we say, I've filled my future with so much joy, I can now have playtime in the now. It's interesting that while I was reading it, they said turn the deck. The final card is on the bottom of the deck, and it is onwardness. It is that doorway I spoke about cleared. So there's something about the moments when we stop our spiritual practices, and that means entirely moments when you give yourself time to live because you've explored enough to reach a moment of just coming into the playful now moment. So on the last one we had a port gate, and on this one we have a temple gate. So this is onwardness, the present, a gateway, and verdandi, the norn of the now. So here is the poem, Temple Gate, created by us. Unpick the past threaded traumas, clogging your previous future pathways. Re-sow the tales of woe entangled around you, stopping you stepping into the unembroidered now. Look not backwards nor forwards. The present step is the right step. Willing for and hoping for will not enliven your future. Dreams need current action. So you store everything, you have this spiritual path, you open yourself to all of this magic to transform your life, and then you live. And when it's time for some more of the explore, that energy will come, but we have to remember to live. And that's really interesting. This card is coming for the first time today with that sense of the energy of just living in love, living in fun, living in joy, living in laughter, living in the weird magic that you've created. There's something very beautiful about this runic transformation. Searching in all of the magic at the base of your Yggdrasil tree, your personal tree, clearing out some of the energy so that you can actually enter life and enjoy being alive. I don't want to pull any ceramic runes on that, if I'm honest. It made its message very, very clear. Sometimes it's just time to dance around your own personal Yggdrasil tree, like a maypole. But know that your tree is chock full of spirit life. You know, spirit birds, spirit insects, all kinds of things below the surface, in the ground, worms, creating new nutrients for another season. But remembering that part of a spiritual journey, it needs to be seasonal. It's not something that you just do perpetually from now until you depart. You have to live. We all have to have moments when we go, I've healed enough to start laughter again. And now they're reminding me of the reading with the hail, the frozen tears, and bringing the joyful tears, bringing a different energy forwards. I love this deck so much. I don't know how it will talk to me each day. Oh, it's showing my brother's birthday to me down here. My mother's birthday up here. So, I'm just having a little catch up on what you've all been saying. I must put that card back in that deck. The 1 of 50 deck. Whoa, Wassail Melissa Morton, bought Liffruma. Congratulations. Gonna put this one in the lovely little Hessian bag that you will all get with your Liffruma deck. Just a reminder, there's no book. The cards contain all the information that you need. So the way the cards are made, this is the Anglo-Saxon word for the rune. And then in most cases, but not all, the first word, like year, is a vague translation. And then the other is an energy that kind of dominates the card. And then the poem will open other philosophical thoughts. So, beautiful people, dance, 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 dance. Is that the Rumi quote? Dance, dance, dance. So, beautiful people, the deck's on sale. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. And I really do thank Goddess Kathy for doing the materializing, because she's very good at bringing things alive and physical. I'm much more like, I'm over there in the esoteric. What do you mean it has to be real? So I really do need to thank all of you for the journey. It's not over, but I am going to live my life for a bit now. I mean, I'm not going to stop my spiritual channelings, but I'm not in any way, shape or form feeling that I am on another shadow threshold. I feel like I've done that for now, and my own personal Yggdrasil tree is quite chocker with life, and it's singing. So really thank you, all of you, for the chance to go on this journey together, to make, I didn't know we were going to make a deck as I traveled. It came about because I tried to get a deck and I couldn't get it through customs in Portugal. They wanted me to pay, the deck cost $20 I was buying, and they wanted me to pay 84 times that amount just to get it inside the country. And I just thought, no, I can't do that. But that inspired the rune deck, and the rune deck wasn't a rune deck originally, it was a Norse mythology deck, and then the runes just took over, and I learned all about the Anglo-Saxon runes, and that's what we created. The lovely big herring gull has just turned up. So yes, thank you everybody who's been involved. Yeah, there is always duties and taxes, even on this deck if it's going outside the USA. But if I hadn't have made that stand, we would never have made this deck together. So really thank you all for being part of Liffruma and part of the next moment in its life. I'm sure we'll start to see it on other channels, and that's always a joy, watching the deck speak with others, because honestly and truly this deck has a mind of its own and will get inside you and behave in a way that it wants. But I will say it has got a big chuckle inside it. So, beautiful people, I'm going off. I want crumpets. I need to find out whether Morrison's is still open. It's a bank holiday Monday here, so it's probably Sunday hours, and it's probably shut. It's 4:22 here now. So thank you all, and I'll be back tomorrow, I'm sure. Although I'm shifting across Hastings to go and stay with another friend tomorrow. So we'll see what comes. But go on now, buy your deck if there are any copies left. Okay, Wassail Beautiful People. Thank you.